Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. In today's video, we are on the test server, guys. So we're going to have a look at the brand new free 7-day login champion, Loki. And I think this might be the very first time when we actually gain access to the 7-day login champion before he actually gets released. Either way, this is the champion. This is the program. The daily login is going to go on for 14 days if you want to collect the Soulless Wall. And then you're going to have the second phase, which will allow you to collect a 5-star Soulless Wall. Definitely pretty solid. Now, all of the champions are barbarians. I don't have Thor in-game just yet, guys, so I cannot really go over the skills, unfortunately. We already saw Freya. We saw Odin, so do expect to see guides on the channel on these two champions, especially on this beauty, because she is absolutely amazing with this passive. Very nice. So stay tuned for those videos. But today we are going to focus Loki the Deceiver. If you guys enjoy the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and help me out, man. Drop a comment and help with that YouTube algorithm, just so YouTube can actually recommend this video to more people. Base stats on Loki, guys, pretty decent, not too bad. 1.3k defense is actually in some cases higher than on defense-based champions. Decent speed as well at 105. Now we are more or less familiar with the skills. The A1 will have a chance to increase the duration of all enemy debuffs, and this is an AoE skill. Now, if your main purpose is to build him for the Hydra clan boss and PvE content, building him on a curse set is actually not a bad idea. The A2 selects a target. If the target is an enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a block active skills debuff and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If the champion using this skill is under a veil or a perfect veil buff, also applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all allies. If the target is an ally or this champion, heals them by 50% of this champion's max HP and places a perfect veil buff on them for 2 turns. If this champion is under a veil or perfect veil buffs, also applies a buff spread effect, taking a random buff from the target and placing it on all allies. Sounds pretty nice. Then you have the A3, has a chance to steal all buffs from a target enemy, and 100% of their turn meter. These effects cannot be resisted if the champion is under a veil or perfect veil. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% instead, and will give an increased attack to all of your allies, which is actually nice. The passive places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns at the start of each round, and also when his HP drops below 50%. Has a 15% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its accompanying effects. If this champion is under a veil or perfect veil buff, the chance to evade increases to 30%. So that's actually pretty nice. Then the active effect, if the champion's HP is below 50% when targeted by an enemy skill, has a 100% chance to evade that skill and all of its accompanying effects. The guaranteed evade then goes on cooldown and will be a 4-turn cooldown. And you have an accuracy aura for all battles, 60. Now, there is a bit of a problem right here, guys. So, selects a target. If the target is an enemy, has a chance to place a block active skills and a block buffs for 2 turns. The problem that this champion will have for Hydra clan boss is that he will require somebody else to give him veil or perfect veil throughout the fight. If no, what's going to happen is he's going to lose the perfect veil or the veil, which he's not going to recover from the passive unless his HP drops. And the problem is that you won't spread the block buffs to the other Hydra heads. So that's kind of like the main issue with him. Of course, if you can use him with a champion that will give him veil or perfect veil, that's not going to be an issue. And he's going to be a very reliable block buffs champion. One of the best champions to use him with, of course, is going to be Duchess. Rector Drat, a good option that will give you veil or perfect veil. So this is definitely solid. I'm sure there are some other champions that will just veil. I can't really remember them all right now, but either way, he's gonna need somebody to ensure that you're getting that organized. So let me just quickly show you the build. I decided for this video to go with a more PvP build rather than a universal PvE build, because I do want to test him in multiple areas. So I have a stone skin and a perception set on him. I try to basically get him fast with some accuracy. 51k HP, 3.8k defense, 343 speed, 600 accuracy. So basically, guys, we want to see how he performs in PvE and how he performs in PvP. As mentioned, if your main purpose is to build him for Hydra, a curse set will be the best choice because of the basic skill being an AoE. Applying hacks on the enemies will definitely be very, very helpful. Now, in terms of masteries, I actually went with offense and support. We have War Master as tier 6. These again are more general masteries rather than just purely PvP. If I would just want to use him in PvP, I would probably get Eagle Eye just to gain more accuracy. But I decided to go with War Master because it suits him better for what we are going to kind of like try to showcase in today's video. Plus, even for PvP, you don't need to have crazy accuracy. And that's mainly because you're not going to target the enemy that has the highest resistance in order to basically block their skills and put block buffs. I'm going to show you exactly how we're doing that. So, in terms of a blessing, if you would get one by any chance, Cruelty is probably going to be the #1 blessing to pick on him, especially for Hydra, even for Arena, because of the basic skill being AoE. So we're going to run this team in Hydra, guys. We are actually on brutal difficulty right now. Now, when we are talking about champions that can put Veil or Perfect Veil on your team, we have quite a few different options. Of course, not all of them will put it on all of the teammates, so you do need to keep that in mind, but you can probably find a way to make it with Elva as well if you put him in the lead, maybe. The thing is, he will require to have the lowest HP, which is not necessarily the biggest problem to worry about, to be honest, because you can give him more defense and he's gonna survive just fine. With Ragash as well, you might be able to find a way to do it, or is it the highest attack? Okay, so maybe not with Ragash, but you can have a few different champions that could potentially put Veil, Perfect Veil on him, just to ensure that he's going to be able to spread the buffs. So let me just quickly show you how he will work in here. So right now we do have the Veil, which comes from the passive, but that will expire. So we're basically going to use the A2. The good thing is that this doesn't really attack, so it's not dealing damage, so we cannot weak hit, regardless of whatever enemy we're attacking. So that's going to be massive. We can put this through a Toxic Cloud as well, which again is going to be massive. For PvP and other PvE content like waves and stuff, this skill is going to be super powerful. Then, of course, we're going to do the rest of the shenanigans that we got to do with our champions. We're going to get everything sorted slowly. The main thing is that you kind of want to pair him with a different champion that doesn't give you increased attack to try and kind of like fit in different champions that kind of like tick different boxes, because he already gives you Thermeter with this skill and he gives you increased attack, you know. And this skill as well doesn't attack either, which is actually pretty good, because like that you're not going to have any issues with weak hits or crazy things like that, you know. So overall, I do like the champion, to be honest. I feel like he can be very, very effective. I'm very curious to see his passive in full action when we're going to PvP, but this is an AoE skill. Increases the duration of debuffs, massive, especially when you're trying to keep the defense down, weaken the hacks on, the block buffs on the Hydra heads. That is going to be very, very helpful, you know. So one thing to keep in mind with that as well. Super effective, in my opinion, to have that on the basic skill. That is AoE, of course. Is not broken because it's not 100% chance for it to happen, but it's still happening, and it's pretty helpful, you know. Shame we don't have a provoke because we might get clapped right now. So another increased duration of debuffs. The thing is, the Head of Decay is going to cleanse, so we haven't really done much unless we manage to kill it, which I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Ninja, can you get it done? Hell no. It's like he barely dealt any damage. So there we go. We got the cleansing. That's fine because now we can actually put it again in practice. So we can do this. So right now, we put the block buffs and we spread the decreased attack as well, which is actually really, really helpful, you know. Now, he will have the same problem like to Hanorek. If you let him go on auto and he's targeting a head that has many, many debuffs, he might not even spread the block buffs. So that can be annoying. Unless I misread the skill, but I'm pretty convinced I haven't. So that's the issue. See, he's losing that perfect veil, and you definitely need a champion to give him that in the Hydra clan boss if you want to make the most out of it, basically, you know. But I'm gonna let it go play on auto a little bit. It's no point to kind of like showcase a full run, guys, because I'm not trying to show you what damage he can do or anything like that. It's basically just to kind of like give you an understanding of how he could potentially improve your team or how he could potentially not improve your team, you know, depending on what the champions you might have available. I strongly suggest you to use him with somebody that gives him Veil, because if no, he's just not going to be able to do the best things that he can do, and that's put block buffs, ensuring that the enemies won't get a toxic cloud or they won't get buffs, stuff like that, you know. And giving you the increased meter and the increased attack is actually nice. It allows your team to rotate faster. You're gonna have that increased attack in case if you don't have another champion that will bring that buff to the team, you know. What I really want to see is when he evades a skill when he's being targeted, you know. So I'm gonna put it on 1 XP to see when the Head of Rat is going to hit. Okay, so we got some healing in there actually, but still, we still have that chance from the passive. Okay, so the passive did not proc by the looks of it. I'm not 100% sure if an AoE skill, because I was talking with some of my clanmates actually, if an AoE skill will count as targeting for him or no. So let's just assume you have an AoE skill with Val the Destroyer and you're targeting Duchess, right? But the skill hits him as well. Will that count as a targeting to actually make him evade the whole skill or no? So that's something that we're going to be able to test better once we're going to get to PvP, because I'm going to intentionally not kill the enemies and keep their damage dealers just to kind of like give us a better understanding of what Loki can do. But I do think he's a very solid champion, and I feel like a lot of you guys will benefit a lot from using him in the Hydra clan boss, especially if you have a Rector Drat. That's pretty much all you need. You need a Rector Drat with him. You don't need a Duchess, to be honest. He brings you the increased attack. You don't need to worry about that. He just needs to get a Veil from the Rector Drat or whoever else you might be using, and bang, he's going to be a super solid Hydra champion for a lot of you guys out there. Block buffs, increase attack, increase meter, increase the duration of buffs, debuffs, sorry. What else you want? What else you want? Because that's actually pretty awesome, to be honest with you guys. I feel like he just used the A2 without having any of the Veil on, or maybe he got resisted on the Head of Decay. I'm not 100% sure exactly what happened there. So that's pretty much how he works in the Hydra clan boss. Very effective champion for block buffs and all the other reasons that I just mentioned before. So for Arena, guys, we had to wait because they needed to fix the test server. So we actually are in Platinum Arena. Since then, we managed to get a 5-star blessing for Loki. So we went with Cruelty. Now, I really want to check if his passive will actually work versus AoE attacks. And I'm going to explain in a second what exactly I mean with that. Let's actually polymorph that. And right here, if this champion's HP is below 50% when targeted by an enemy skill, has a 100% chance to evade the skill. Now, the main idea is usually targeting somebody is basically a single target skill rather than an AoE which hits all of the champions. So I'm very curious to see if that will actually trigger the passive or no. That's why this Cupidus is the perfect example right here. So we're going to annoy that Cupidus to counterattack us till we get bored. Seems like it doesn't have full crit rate by the looks of it, which is fine. So let's go in again. Okay, so the passive procced right here. That's the regular part of the passive that doesn't have a cooldown. So it's the very first one. 15% chance to evade. With Veil or Perfect Veil is basically going to be 30% chance. So that's actually pretty interesting. The champion can be very annoying with this, to be honest. But my main curiosity is under 50% HP is 100% chance for it to happen. So that's my main curiosity. So he should be taking a turn. Okay, so it seems like the passive procced again, but it did not proc with the second part, sorry. So it's not this active effect, it's the regular one, the passive, which has no cooldown. So that's fine. Now my main curiosity is if he's going to proc right now or no. Yes, so it procs even for AoE attacks, even when we are not being targeted. So that is on a 4-turn cooldown. Now, I've been testing it actually for quite a bit. This is not the only fight that I've done to see that it actually works. So it does count for AoE attacks as well. You see, again, we have that that Mitrala that actually procced the passive. Now we're not sure if it procced the first part, the passive, or the active one, but either way, it counted. So if we're gonna have it on cooldown right now, which we will, we know for a fact that is actually the active one, which has a 4-turn cooldown, you see? So that's actually amazing that it counts for AoE attacks too, because I was not 100% sure if it will or not. So let's end this team and move over to a different fight where we can actually put him in good practice, you know, because right now I just wanted to show you exactly how the passive works, so you guys have a better understanding of what this champion can do, and that's actually pretty awesome that it works like that. So for example, if we're gonna head over to a similar team like this one right here, you see they do have polymorph. Now what you can do with him is to target different champions that don't have polymorph, and like that you're gonna put block active skills and block buffs on the rest. So we're quickly gonna check who has polymorph. By the looks of it, Mitrala and of course Candraphone doesn't. Now for Mitrala is gonna be a bit of a tricky one. We might not have enough accuracy, so I'm not gonna do anything with him. Let's try to turn her into a ship. No, we did not manage to do that. So right here you can do this. Bang. We can put it on her. Mitrala got resisted, which is fine. She will cleanse it, most probably. But the main idea is you can just do this and spread block active skills on the rest of the champions. And that's actually pretty nasty for PvP. Now, I know Calamitous does a very similar thing. The mythical champion that we can get from the Cursiri. But this is a free champion. He's not a mythical champion, and he does pretty much awesome job, especially with the block buffs too, you know. The main thing is you do need to have the block buffs on in order to kind of like really make the most out of it. If no, it just won't be as effective. You're only going to be able to put it on one champion. He's not going to spread it to the rest. So that is one of the issues, I would say, that the champion has. You need a perfect veil for him to really go crazy, basically, you know. So we're gonna try to do it again. Are we gonna get polymorph? Seems like we haven't, but we did not spread either the debuffs, and that's mainly because what I was just explaining you right now. Now, if we would have an Elvine here and we would make him the lowest HP, that would be no problem whatsoever. If you would have Duchess or other champions that give you Veil, even a Rector Drat will get the job done, to be honest with you guys. She revives. She's not bad for a PvP, even for a PvE as well, just in general. Yes, she's not what she used to be for PvP like back in the day, but she's still very, very effective, you know? Let's do a completely different thing now. We want to see if we lock them and they don't cleanse. And we're not going to use Armans. We're actually going to try to bring in a lockout. Now, I already removed the gear from my Warlord. I hope that Crixia still has gear. And hopefully she's faster than this Armans. If not, we might be a bit in trouble here. But we're going to lock them. We're going to apply the block active skills. The good thing as well is that we should not attack UDK. We should be able to dodge that. No weak hit. Of course you're going to weak hit on Armans. Thank you. Thank you so much. So they still have Stone Skin. We haven't managed to remove it all. But as you may notice, we can select the target. It doesn't need to be UDK. We can lock active, block the skill, put block buffs, and GG's basically, you know. So it's very, very effective to use this skill in the following way. It's amazing that it basically overrides UDK's passive. You don't have to worry about it. So I do think that is actually pretty solid. Let's refresh this. I wish I would be able to remove that Stone Skin, to be honest, but that might have to be a thing for another day. So right here, we can actually just do this. Still the Thermitter, and again, we don't attack. We can target whatever enemy we want and get that Thermitter from them. That won't basically create us any issues whatsoever with Polymorph. We are gaining increased attack, which is very, very helpful again. Come on, Ancora. Get rid of that. Beautiful. So, ooh, that Narcissus might be clapping us right now. So we gotta be careful with that. I'm just trying to see who has Polymorph. Ancora does not have Polymorph, which is actually a win for us. So we should be taking the turn before, and we can do this again. Block active skills, block buffs, and bang, it went to everyone. So even though that Narcissus just had his cooldown decreased, he's just not going to be able to do nothing. The passive just procced in there, which is nice. And right now we can slowly just put an end to their misery, basically, you know. That was a bit unfortunate because the, the master is procced and removed exactly the block active skills. And this might cost us right now. This is definitely going to be a bit annoying. That's fine. Okay, let's see. Come on, Narcissus. I am counting on you. Beautiful. Get him down. Get him down. But that's what you can do with Loki, guys. I do think he's actually a pretty awesome champion. He will be very interesting for a lot of accounts out there. If you build him faster than Armans, hey, you do have a chance to lock his active skills, drop his stir meter. The problem is that everybody is running Stone Skin on most of the champions, so you do need to find a way on how you can remove those buffs or do something. Marius, a very good example. He can decrease the cooldown of the buffs on the enemies, you know, and yeah, in the lower tiers, you can use Madame Series, Ramantus, etc. without having to worry about Polymorph. But that was all for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about Loki? As usual, much love. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.